Kto ma najlepsze żarty?
Robert is quite funny guy, but both.
Robert.
Chyba nikt.
Kto najwięcej mówi na briefingach?
Robert.
Robert.
Ja.
Kto późno wstaje?
Me and Louis.
Me.
Louis. Chociaż nie, może Lorenzo też. Razem spaliśmy w Sebring, to no... Jest dobra walka pomiędzy nimi.
Kto jest najlepszy z mediami?
Louis.
Me? I don't know. You have to say.
Normalnymi czy społecznościowymi?
Nie, z normalnymi.
Ja.
Nocny, deszczowy stint na Le Mans. Kto jedzie?
Robert. There is a high priority of Robert.
Robert or me?
Ja.
Kto jest najbardziej fit?
Me.
Robert on the bike?
Ja.
Kto jest najlepiej ubrany?
I don't know, we always wear PREMA clothes, but if we go around the dinner together, I think Louis will shine his outfits.
Me.
Według mnie nie ma żadnego z dobrym poziomem.
Kto jest najprzystojniejszy?
Me?
I will say me even though I don't know.
Nie interesują mnie chłopaki, także ciężko mi ocenić. Na pewno nie ja.
Kat, mamy to. Dzięki. Czy już gramy? Idziemy poznać PREMA ORLEN Team od środka, wnętrza. Pogadamy z menedżerem ekipy, pogadamy z kierowcami, będzie fajnie. PREMA jest ekipą świetnie znaną w świecie wyścigów, ale świetnie znaną w świecie wyścigów bolidów jednomiejscowych, szczególnie w seriach juniorskich przed Formułą 1. Oni wygrywają wszystko.
Tak naprawdę Premę po raz pierwszy poznałem, jak wsiadłem po raz pierwszy do bolidy Formuły Renault w Madzione na takim shootoucie zorganizowanym przez Toyotę w 2000 roku, kiedy startowałem w kartingu. Drugimi takimi jazdami było to, jak zadzwoniłem do nich pod koniec 2002 roku, jak zostałem jakby zostawiony przez program Renault. Włożyłem tam, pamiętam, trochę pieniędzy i zadzwoniłem do nich po 2 latach Formuły Renault, czy testują Formułę 3. I nie miałem budżetu na cały dzień i pojechałem, ustawiłem się z nimi, że pojadę pół dnia. Wsiadłem w pociąg z miejsca, w którym mieszkałem, z kaskiem i z paroma tysiącami euro w tym kasku i pojechałem na testy do Misano.
Teraz natomiast debiutują w wyścigach długodystansowych i to jest zupełnie inny świat. Jak się w tym odnajdują? Idziemy na kulisy, idziemy na kulisy. To się nazywa twórczy nieład. Z tego chaosu rodzi się piękno.
Hello everyone, my name is Ralph Aaron. I'm the team manager for PREMA ORLEN team. We are here in beautiful Monza. It's really hot outside and we are currently preparing for the World Endurance Championship Round 4. I will take you on a little tour to show you around the garages, to show around inside of the truck where we do meetings and you can just take a look of what happens on the day before the drivers actually arrive to the circuit. So we can start, we're outside here, where the paddock where all the trucks are lined up. This is our little area. This tent is just to cover the bodywork that we have. This is spare bodywork that we use on the car all weekend and in case something happens with the other bodywork. It's quite often that these huge carbon parts, they get a little bit damaged during the weekend. So then we have a spare set that we put on the car and at the same time on track we repair the old ones that we will use again.
How many spare sets do you have?
So we have the main set that is on the car plus 2 spare sets. Because then you can keep a second set of front end and rear wing, rear end with a different setup for a quick change. And then the third one is the actual spare set in case something happens. Here again is the bodywork area still. The bodywork on an LMP2, the pieces are really big, like one big pieces. The underfloor is really long, the front end is big, the rear end is big, which means they take up a lot of space. If you compare with GTs, for example, they have smaller bits so they can use a bit less space. So this is all for bodywork.
And if you want to repair something during the
So
Race.
our repair shop is actually a little further back. Our carbon repair guy just walked over there. But the repair area is a little further back. They require more or less a tent like this as well, on top of everything that we have here to repair everything.
Duct tape is the best friend?
No, actually, if we need to use duct tape, something has gone wrong. Then here is the entrance to the driver's area in the truck. Do you want to look at it now, later? We can go take a look of the driver's area. There's air conditioning here.
Oh, so that's the best place on the
That is
circuit.
the best place. In Monza, actually, it's really important. And here they have their little area. Everyone has their case where they can keep their personal things.
What
Race
a,
suits.
you have a trophy.
Oh yes, this is an old one. This we need to hide. This one we need to hide. But yeah, this is where they hang out between the races. Where,
So these are driver's suits?
yes, Robert's things are here.
Ah. Nice.
You have some.
So this is their dressing room.
This is their dressing room. This is their area during the weekend when they want to relax and be away from everything. This is what the rule we have is that no one else comes here to bother them. So if they want to get away from all the mess, this is their safe place.
This is Louis.
Yep.
W małżeństwie, jak są ciężkie dni, ktoś może wyjść z domu, wróci za parę godzin, za parę dni i mu przejdzie. W wyścigach, kiedy masz partnerów zespołowych, ktoś może mieć gorszy dzień i tak naprawdę nie może sobie wyjść, tylko po prostu musisz jakby te wszystkie rzeczy starać się przynajmniej na czas wyścigów i na weekend wyścigowy zatrzymać z boku, no ale jednak jesteśmy ludźmi, mamy swoje lepsze, gorsze dni, mamy swoje charaktery.
It's a lot easier if you like each other. You can come here for work, but I think the lineup will not work as well if you're not necessarily friends, but at least respect each other and work well. We're lucky this year. I think we're very friendly with each other and there is no ego involved.
For sure, I'm learning a lot from them. They have 1 year of experience already in endurance. Robert and Louis, they both were in WRT last year, so for sure I have a lot of notes to say to me. If I do good stuff, they will tell me. If I do bad job, they will tell me. So for sure, I also ask a lot of advice from them.
Yeah, Lorenzo is our new little silver driver, the young one, and not that little, actually he's taller than me, so he's doing a super good job, and we'd rather have him with us than against us.
All this stuff travels in a truck?
Yes. So we as a team we manage all of these things. You see, drivers have their bags as well.
Uh-huh.
I
Wow.
don't know where Robert's is. Maybe he has it. It's over there. You can see Robert has his own bag with his name and everything. So suits, underwear, things like this, we as a team, we keep them, we bring them back, we wash them, make sure they have everything here. But there are personal things that each driver, sometimes drivers take their helmets with them, shoes, some like more personal things that they want to make sure are in the right place. Those they take with them, but the majority of the equipment we as a team, we bring them back, we wash them, and then it's always in a safe place and nothing is forgotten behind.
Perfect. So is this the place where you do the briefing?
Yes, so this is the meeting room, let's say meeting area, where we do all the pre-event meetings. So tomorrow morning when the drivers arrive, we will have a pre-event meeting. Before every session we do a pre-session meeting to discuss the run plan, discuss the plan, what we're going to do. And after every session, we come here as well, we do a quick debrief, discuss with the engineers, drivers give their feedback, and we discuss on the further points. So now that we're done with the driver's area and the meeting room, we can go and take a look at the garage.
Perfect. After you.
It's nice and warm. Okay,
I want to go back to the air conditioning.
so first I will show you the tire area. This is a tire washing machine where the tires come after they've been off the car. But these are tire omens where we warm up the tires. Plus on top of that we as well have tire blankets that I can show you inside the garage. So all the tires that we put on the car are already warmed up before they go on the car. Same as F1 in that sense. And this is where the tire man has his office.
How many do you use during the weekend?
How many sets? It depends on the depends on the weekend, but for example, Le Mans race is 24 sets. So a lot of tires go through here. Because the race, here we have a 6-hour race, so actually I don't know from the top of my head how many sets we are using. Bahrain is 8 hours, for example, so the race distance is different, and we have, when the race is longer, we have more sets as well. Keep the fuel here. Here is a little coffee area, which is very important in an Italian team. When the coffee machine doesn't work, the team doesn't run, guaranteed.
What's this?
This is the fuel machine. So a fuel bowser that knows exactly how many liters and kilos. It's very accurate, and it needs to be accurate. Fuel is calculated to a second decimal point. So we need very accurate machines like this to know exactly how much fuel is going in the car and how much is coming out.
This is cool.
Keep the fuel drums here. These are the tire blankets that I told you about that warm the tires. The tire blankets are a bit more accurate than the oven. The oven, you can, you set the temperature inside the oven, but then it can vary a little bit. It's difficult to set the perfect temperature. With the tire blankets, it's much more accurate.
How do you mark the tire?
How do we mark them?
Yeah.
So you can see tire markings on here. We mark them by sets, and then left-hand side, right-hand side. And for the race, we actually use a different marking, because in practice and so on, sometimes we mix sets, which is a normal thing to do. In the race, we don't, usually. So for the race, we delete everything and do new markings to make sure there is no mess between the communication. Because during the race, the mechanics get the call from the engineer on the radio, what set to bring. They run from over there to the tire guy. The tire guy needs to give them the correct set. So there's a lot of people and a lot of communication going through it, so it needs to be as simple as possible to make sure no one makes a mistake. We keep some spare parts here, a workbench for the mechanics.
What do you have?
Yeah, sure. Let's see, special tools, gearbox parts. There is absolutely everything. Everything is labeled, and there is a very complicated system to keep track of what we use. So Fred, who you can see there, discussing with the Goodyear guy, he's the chief mechanic, and he keeps the order in the house with all of that stuff.
That's an organization.
Has to be. So we found something really important. This is the Setup Toolkit. To do the setup on the car, to take all the measurements, to see what camber, toe, corner weights, everything that we have, we use this Setup Wizard Setup Toolkit. Engineers and mechanics get the proper information that way.
This is cool.
Yeah. And over here you see the gearbox. It's a spare gearbox in case something goes wrong and we need to take it.
So, how many do you have? Spare?
So actually we have two complete cars and then a spare car as well, which is a spare tub, spare gearbox, things like that. But we have two full cars. Here is the mechanics keep their helmets and everything, equipment ready here. Driver seats. So the way the driver seats work, because it's 3 drivers, the biggest one makes a base seat, which you can, this is Lorenzo's. He makes a base seat for the car, and then the other 2 who are smaller make inserts for that base seat. So here you can see actually Robert's insert. When Robert goes in the car, he puts his insert inside, so then he's comfortable as well.
So, whose seat is the biggest one?
Lorenzo Colombo is the biggest one, then Louis' insert is like this, Robert's it like this.
Yeah, for sure, this year it's a new challenge for me. Endurance racing is a different world because I come from Formula category, so sprint races of half an hour, full push. But yeah, here it's a bit different. You need to, first of all, you need to share the car with other two drivers. So it's difficult to find a good balance between all of us.
Did you know Luis and Robert before?
Yes, Robert not. Robert I met him there first time. Was for sure a good looking guy. And yeah, but Louis for sure I met him before. Actually, I met him in this track because I was around watching a race.
C'est Ascari qui l'a fait, c'est là où t'as
We usually keep schedules and other information for mechanics and the whole team here on the wall. You can see the schedule for today over there, not a long day. And here is data from our tire change from last weekend. So we will do it after every session so the mechanics can come take a look, who was slow, who was fast, what can they do better. This is a portable, portable air that we usually bring on the grid. When we need to lift the car up and put on skates to change tires, this is the portable one. So here is the area where the car is during the weekend. Hello, I'm listening. The scrutineers arrived. See. Okay. You came to... I will get JP to come.
Perfect, thank you.
I need to call the engineer. Careful with the nose coming.
What's going on there?
So let's go take a look at the engineers. These are the data stations, and this is where the engineers work during the weekend. You have Francois, Mathieu, and Philippe. Francois is the performance engineer, Mathieu is the systems engineer, and Philippe is the data engineer. So we get live telemetry from the car, everything runs here, and this is their station. Here is the place of Jean-Philippe and Antoine. Antoine is the chief engineer, Jean-Philippe is the car engineer, and we always keep a space for the driver in the middle. And during the race as well, you can see the intercoms, so they can follow the whole race. And during the race, Antoine, Jean-Philippe, and me, we stay on the pit perch, and we are all connected between each other with intercoms and to make communication easier, and the driver is involved as well.
So finally, can you go back to the car?
Yep. So the car is actually getting ready to leave for scrutineering right now. As you can see, mechanics are putting final touches. At this point of the weekend, when scrutineering comes, the car is fully ready and prepared for the weekend. And after scrutineering, we usually do pit stop practice because the car is ready in one piece. It's race ready at the moment. We have a big timing on the screen to make sure no one misses anything important. Toolbox is here. You can go take a look this way. So on the car, we have the car number 1 mechanic who is responsible for the car, and then 3 other mechanics. There is car number 1, you can see there is Damian. Then we have Miguel, who works in the rear of the car. There is also Matteo, who works in the rear, and Vivian, who works on the front of the car. And all of them are involved in the pit stop. Damian is on the lollipop, which is he has the most responsibility during the pit stop actually, because he has the power to let the car go, so he needs to make sure everything is fine with the car before it goes. And on top of the people who normally work on the car, also Fred helps in the pit stop.
Yeah, I met Robert last year. We became really good friends. I think we won the championship together. We had very difficult Le Mans, but it was a life experience, I think. And we decided to, if possible, stay together, and we did it. So it's amazing. Yeah, I did a lot of single-seater. Basically, it was my whole career before I switched last year to sports cars with Robert. My first year in LMP2 last year, and I did a lot of F2, also World Series, Formula 1 also. I got my super license, even some Formula 1 stuff, but now those days are behind and only endurance racing. Yeah, I did one test in Formula 1, which was the best car I ever drove, I have to say. It was a really good memory, a dream come true as well. And you know, then I had my license, I had everything to go to F1, but it was not the right timing, I guess.
The next thing, you can come in the pit lane, there is nothing going on. Our fuel rig, pit gantry, all of everything we need for a pit stop. We have markings on the floor to know exactly where a car stops. The second marking is for the nose-in procedure. So for example, if that car is doing a pit stop at the same time, we don't have space to properly come in. The car comes in nose-in, we put the skate under the car, put the car in place, remove the skate, and then we do the pit stop.
Yeah, it is quite tight, isn't it?
Yes, especially in Monza, it gets really, really tight. We can go this way. We can go see the pit perch. So actually, not all the teams run pit perches anymore because of all the information that comes from the car with the telemetry, timing, videos, cameras, everything. You can kind of, you can follow the whole race even from home if you wanted to, with all the information you need. But still, we like having the pit perch. So, like I said before, it's Jean-Philippe who is here, who runs the car, Antoine, who is chief engineer, and I'm here because it gives you a better overview of the whole race. You can always look and see what the others are doing. You can see what's going on in the pit lane. You can see what's going on track. So you're much closer to the action. And sometimes, honestly, for me, it's an advantage. So we will always have a pit perch. As you can see, not all the teams do, but I would say it's like half-half nowadays. But we believe in the pit perch. I can actually open it and show it to you. Okay, let's take a quick look inside. Okay, it's a bit warm now, and it gets really hot during the Monza weekend with the sun and everything. But we open everything up, and when the air is moving, it's better. But basically, the data station that you saw in the garage, this is very similar, just on the pit wall. The intercoms is here. Each one of us has their own. We have all our screens, internet, all the means of communication that we need. And like I said, it's a data station on the wall. The same thing pretty much was down there. But we just believe that being closer to the race is an advantage. You can have a better overview of everything that is going on.
So who is authorized to speak to the driver during the
The way we do it is it's always the car engineer who speaks to the driver. If it's more people speaking, Antoine, who is the chief engineer, he as well sometimes comes in to help with traffic and things like this. But when the car is on track, we keep it to car engineer. So if I notice something that I want to tell to the driver, I usually go on the intercom and let Jean-Philippe know. And then at a convenient time, he can tell it to the driver. So to keep it as simple as possible. When a lot of people get on the radio, it can get complicated. Yeah, and the other person who can speak to the driver actually is the lollipop man, so Damian, car number 1 mechanic. Because when the car is coming inside, Damian needs to take the call whether we do a nose in, normal pit stop, nose out after a pit stop, all these things the driver needs to know. And then it's the mechanic who goes on the radio and lets the driver know while the car is in pit lane. The pit board.
so old school.
Yeah. Well, it's not that old school. Old school is some teams actually do old school where the mechanic puts it out, but here this is all automized.
Okay.
So it runs together. It runs together with the timing. So the pit board knows exactly where the car is on track. It knows when the car is approaching last corner. Then it gives all the information that we want to give. We can go this way. I can show you. So usually we show the position during the race, the gap with the car in front, car behind, things like this. So this basic information that it's good for a driver to know, but you don't want to go on the radio every lap. So the pit board knows when the car is approaching last corner, it goes out for that time. and then once the car has passed, it will come back in. So you will see the mechanism here, and then it goes out, because it's not allowed to have the pit board out all lap. So then we need this automized machine.
So is there just one person putting in data to a pit board, or is it?
It runs all automatically.
Integrated.
Yes, it's integrated. It runs fully automatically. It gets data from the timing system, and then it runs on its own. All the people I work with are better at their job than I would ever be. All the engineers are smarter than me. All the mechanics do a much better job than I could ever do. I just help them work together the best and get the best out of themselves. But yeah, this is the fuel machine and the pit stop booms. So they're lightweight carbon booms. Air runs through them, so they can come with a gun behind the car, and they follow the mechanic. And the fuel rig is there. So the fuel rig is really accurate as well. There is a communication link, electronic communication link with the engineer and the fuel rig, so the engineer can set a time. The fuel is done by time. So in LMP2, our minimum fuel time has to be 35 seconds. So it cannot be shorter than that. So we aim to be as close as possible to that 35 to get a full tank. But sometimes we do not always need a full tank. Then the engineer can set on the fuel machine. For example, he knows exactly how much fuel goes in 17 seconds. He can set 17 seconds on the fuel rig, and then the fuel guy just connects it and sees the countdown of how many seconds to go, and then when it's 0, up, and the car goes. And I think it's perfect timing, because we have scrutineering in 8 minutes. You see the car is having its final touches, everything is ready, and now it will go to scrutineering.
Ouais, voir avec eux, voir avec la mienne bien aussi. De toute façon, nous, la nôtre, on pourra pas la mettre.
I tym sposobem odprowadziliśmy samochód w drodze na kontrolę techniczną. Na tym kończymy nasz tour po garażu. Ralph, so what is it that you do here, apart from everything? Because it looks like you do everything.
I don't do everything. I certainly don't know everything, although sometimes people assume that. But I'm the team manager. So the first role of the team manager is to be in charge of the sporting regulations, sporting side of things. During a race, during the whole weekend, I am the official contact person with race control, stewards, organizer. So all of that official and administrative stuff has to go through me. This is the first official thing. The second really big part is just organizing the team, organizing the work of the people. Of course, within the engineers, there is a chief engineer who is Antoine. Antoine is in charge of organizing the work of the engineers. Then we have a chief mechanic whose name is Fred. He organizes the work of the mechanic. But of course, I'm the between person between all of the group in the team who make sure everything is running smoothly. And then on top of that, I solve problems. In racing, on a race weekend, sometimes it's difficult for someone to describe what is your job description, because I arrive during the day, I have a list of things I need to do. The list is honestly pretty short, usually. But then throughout the day, I just keep adding things to the list, one after another. And this is basically what I do.
I'm pretty sure that your job looks like a dream job for many people who are watching us now at the moment. So what's your career so far? What's your experience? How did you get here?
So I think I have a bit of a more unusual way. I was a racing driver myself. I raced with PREMA in Formula 4 and Formula 3. And at some point my racing driver career, well, it didn't come to an end, but I got an opportunity to be a team manager for a Formula regional team of PREMA. And I did that for 3 years, and now I got the opportunity to, and during that time also did Formula 3 and other categories and followed around. And I have been with the team since 2014, end of 2014. So from this year came the opportunity to work with the LMP2 team.
How old are you, if you don't mind me
I'm
asking?
24.
24. Wow, that's a quite an experience for a 24-year-old. So does it help your previous experience as a racing driver to meet up, to better understand the needs of the drivers and the team as a whole?
I think so, yes, I believe so. I've been on both sides of the fence, let's say. So I've been on the driver's side, I've been on the team management side, much like Robert has done in the past. And I think it really gives you see both perspectives. So it's easier to relate with people, and it's sometimes easier to find solutions because you know what both sides expect.
PREMA is such a successful team in single seaters in junior categories. So how does it feel to be a part of this group that already, has such a huge history and success?
It feels really good. I mean, I love it here. Like I said, I've been with the team for a very long time, many years. For sure, with all of this success comes this pressure and expectation of always doing well, which is something honestly I don't mind, and I think most of the team doesn't mind. We're here to win. We want to win. We want to be the best. So it's really a good environment to be in this type of team, because everyone who comes to work for us, or everyone I work with at least, they're here to do one thing, to win. And everyone around you is working so hard in other categories as well and winning. It gives you extra motivation to do well.
Mm-hmm. But in endurance racing though, everyone has to learn their lessons. So how does it look like?
So it's true, in endurance we don't have that much experience as a team, but the people who work within the LMP2 category, they do have experience. We have mechanics who have a lot of experience from past in other LMP teams. We have engineers who have past experience in LMP teams. So we're trying to combine their experience from endurance and our experience from single-seaters that has been successful, and we're trying to get the best out of both.
So how is the team organized during the season between endurance and other projects? And is it the same people? No, not at all.
So as the team is doing World Endurance Championship and European Le Mans Championship at the same time, the endurance team, let's say, or the LMP2 team is running self-sufficient, so we don't really share people with the other categories unless sometimes needed. Somebody gets sick, then you have to change, then of course we switch. But otherwise, the whole team that is working here that you will see in the garage is dedicated for this project.